I do enjoy the nature. My story is lacking. I have the handwriting of a 12-year-old boy. Oh my goodness, it's been some dark times. I just gave up putting that as part of my goals. Why set yourself up for failure? I forget that I'm supposed to be remembering. It sounds like chaos because it is. I'm writing the worst stuff I have ever written. Probably took like a year off my life. Hi friends. So today, on my quest to write like all my favorite authors, on my journey to finishing this fantasy novel that I've been working on, I'm going to be writing like Sara Lubratt today. She is my favorite author YouTuber, and her writing schedule seems so approachable and well organized, and every time I watch her writing it just makes me so motivated. It makes me feel like I can do anything I want to. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to structure my day the way that Sara Lubratt tends to structure hers, and hopefully I'm going to get a bunch done. Sara is a late starting lady. It's about 1:30 p.m. So today I will be a late starting lady, and I actually like that because I am always a late starting lady. In her vlogs about her most productive writing schedule, she tends to find that she gets the most done if she has 2 different writing sessions during the day. One early in the day and then one late at night. And I like that a lot because when I can write late at night, I also get a lot done and I'm less inhibited by my daytime anxieties. My problem is once it hits like 10 or 11 p.m. every night, even if I'm planning on writing late, I'm always like, well, I'm tired. I'll just go to bed. I'll try again another night. And then I just never try again another night. So today, while I am making myself write like Sara Lubratt, I will write tonight. I'm not going to let myself hit that wall. Another thing Sara does is she uses productive breaks, which I like the sound of, but I have never tried. So she tends to write like 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, although she's not exact about the time, which is good because every time I've tried to be exact about my writing schedule, all I do is focus on the time and I get nothing done. So I'm going to just get going into the flow and see how long my flow lasts. And if it lasts, 10, 15, half an hour, that will be my writing sprint, and then I will take a break and do another activity that's not writing. What I'm currently working on is editing a YouTube video, so I'm going to switch back and forth between writing and editing a YouTube video. And then I'm going to take, a break. I don't know how Sara decides how long her writing sessions are, but she lives in Utah. She always does a lot of hiking. I live in Ohio, and it's flat, flat, flat. So I'll probably just end up taking a walk. I do enjoy the nature, but I'm like, flatter than the ocean out here. And then I will eat a nice late dinner, hang out, do some fun things, hopefully. And then, 10 or 11 p.m., when I usually tell myself I'm tired and I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to force myself to start writing again. I don't know if I'm going to do productive breaks at that time. We'll just have to see. So first, we will write. Also, I figured I should tell you what I'm writing. I'm working on the second draft of a young adult fantasy. It's a magical mystery. The way that I write my first drafts is very scene heavy, so there is not connective tissue yet between the scenes. Narrative summary, my story is lacking. So that's my goal for draft 2, is to connect all the scenes and have a something readable, even if it's terrible, and then it will get good in the future. My problem has been, I keep recognizing that it's terrible, so I get stuck, because I'm like, wow, this is terrible, I can't write this. So I have gotten stuck on the 6th scene. In my last vlog, I got through the 6th scene, but then when I hit the 7th scene, I realized that scene needed to be inserted in front of the 6th scene and become the new 6th scene, and it was a disaster, a bit of a fiasco. So that's where I am now. I'm attempting to insert the new 6th scene into the spot where the old 6th scene was. Hopefully that doesn't cause me a gazillion more future troubles, because I was stuck on the 6th scene for like 6 weeks probably, maybe even longer. One thing that Sara Lubratt does that I really love, she keeps a habit tracker. I had never heard of a habit tracker until I started watching Sara's vlogs. Oh no, pen. Excuse my hideous handwriting. I used to be told in high school that my handwriting looked like Harry Potter's did in the Chamber of Secrets. So, I have the handwriting of a 12-year-old boy. Anyway, these make me feel so productive and, like, really satisfied with what I'm doing with my day. I haven't done one since May, and I gave up, pretty early on, if you can see. So today, it is, I don't know what the day is actually. It's the end of August. So I'm going to make a new one for September. And these will be my goals. So, write 1,000 words. That's sort of still my goal. Exercise, get sunlight, eat produce, drink water, and feel good. Now, those might be some pretty sad, pathetic little goals to have each day, but I've been struggling, so these are my goals. Start feeling good again. These are some previous months. Look at this month, so sad, feel good. Yeah, I've been struggling. Oh my goodness, it's been some dark times. But I'm on the mend. And I feel like keeping a habit tracker will help me feel better. Oh look, here's last September. Interesting. Some goals around here that I just don't even have anymore, like no social media. Look at all those just non-days. Then I realized this is not a realistic goal for me right now, so I just nixed it. And then this month, look, see, I had put practice driving. I've written 6 novels, but I can't drive, because, you know, we all have our strengths. But I never once practiced driving, or this month, so then I just gave up putting that as part of my goals for the day. Because why set yourself up for failure? So it's pretty neat, and literally, Sara Lubratt is the first and only person I've ever heard who does this. I don't know where she got this from, I don't know if her therapist taught her, but it's excellent and it makes me feel really good about myself. Also, see, for these, where my goal was to write 1,000 words, but if I was editing and not working with a word count, I would just put a little line in there, meaning I worked on my novel, even though I wasn't working with a word count, I was just editing. These are all blank because I was sad and not doing anything. And here, if it's half full, that means I wrote 500 words. This is 250 words. So it's like an excellent chart. I mean, Sara Lubratt, A+ work here, because this is my favorite thing to do now. I haven't done it in many months because I've been struggling, but I'm better. I'm getting better. Vlog when I was writing like Brandon Sanderson, and I realized that the 7th scene needed to become the 6th scene. The way I achieved that was by just writing nonsense. And that's what I'm still doing. I am writing the most absurd, campiest, cheesiest, ridiculous badness that I have ever written before, and I am just straight up having fun. Like, literally every sentence I write, I'm practically cackling inside my head because it's just so ridiculous. But it's also so fun. YouTube video. It's supposed to go up on Thursday, and I can't even get it out of iMovie and onto my flash drive. It just keeps failing. This has never happened to me before. I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed. Written a novel before where my second draft feels so much like a 0 draft, and for some reason I'm not dreading it. Like, a lot of times when you're struggling with a novel, you're struggling because you feel like everything you write is boring and awful and you never want to see it again, and so you dread revision because you know that what you wrote is going to just carry this essence of boring. But what I'm writing, I'm hoping, is going to carry the essence of, like, absurd fun. And so I'm actually looking forward to revision, and I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling more confident in my revision skills recently. But I'm having a good time. I'm writing the worst stuff I have ever written, but it's like so bad it's good. That video probably took like a year off my life. That was the hardest I've ever. It failed probably like 4 times before it was finally successful in uploading. That's never happened to me before. I hope it never happens to me again, but perhaps that means no more hour-long videos for me in my future. Okay, so I finished moving the 7th scene into the new 6th scene position, and I connected it to the old troublesome 6th scene, which is now the 7th scene. The 6th scene, which used to be the 7th scene, is bad, and it's not the fun kind of bad that I'm currently creating. It's the old kind of bad from my previous bad writing days, where it's just boring and dull and isn't good, but I'm just gonna leave it for now, and then I'll come back and fix it later when I'm fixing everything. So that was nice. So now I have a new 6th scene connected to a new 7th scene, which was the previous troublesome 6th scene. But then I was about to connect the 7th scene to the 8th scene, or try to figure out what happens next, because none of the next scenes are in any kind of order, which I didn't realize how bad the non-order was, but it's bad. There's no order. It's chaos in there. But I also realized I'm missing a scene in my Act 1 somehow. Between the note cards and the ordering and the transferring to a new document, I left out a scene. I totally forgot about a scene. And I was just starting to think about what's gonna be the 8th scene, and I was like, oh wait, what happened to that old scene? Where did that go? So then I spent like a heck of a long time looking for it, and it wasn't in the new document, and I was struggling to find it in the old document, but I did eventually find it, so I transferred it over, and I think I know where I'm gonna put it now. It's not gonna be the 8th scene, it's gonna be a little bit later on. So I mean, there's that. But I guess, so far so good. Sara Lubratt works by chapter, typically, or word count. I work by word count only when I'm drafting, like my initial first little draft. Everything else I work by scene. I don't actually add chapter breaks until, like, the very, very end. Until, like, I'm, like, done with the whole novel. So right now I'm working with scenes, and coming into today, I needed to finish moving the 7th scene into the new 6th scene spot. Get it connected on both ends, which I did. So now, the 6th scene, which was the old 7th scene, is now the new 6th scene. It's in the story. It's connected to the new 7th scene, which was the old troublesome 6th scene. And that 7th scene now is also done and ready to be connected to the 8th scene. I have not yet found out what I want the 8th scene to be. It's somewhere in the novel, but the rest of the scenes have no order. So that's where we currently stand. So I'm not sure how I feel about these productive breaks, these writing sprints with productive breaks like Sara Lubratt does, because even with the best of intentions, when I start out trying to take like stock of my writing sprint and then my writing break, within the first few minutes it's a lost cause. I like totally forget what I'm supposed to be doing. And then when I finish the sprint or the break, I forget that I'm supposed to be remembering to like remember how long I was writing / being on a break. It sounds like chaos because it is, and that type of schedule, I guess, the back and forth is kind of nice, but the keeping track and any sort of regularity between the two seems to be a no-go for me. Alright, I don't think I'm going to do productive breaks at night, just because what tasks are there to do in the middle of the night? I don't know. I guess I could, like, do some push-ups or something like Dan Brown, but I'm not feeling it today. Not going to do that. I also just remembered that Sara always leaves her main lights on at night when she's writing, rather than having this nice ambiance that I like to write to at night. But I also don't want to turn on my overhead lights, so I guess I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to write. I'm going to write like I normally do and see how far I can get. I am feeling very tired, so we shall see. soundtrack to this novel is Nonsense by Sabrina Carpenter. So last night I was able to figure out what I want the 8th scene to be. It's going to be a combination of my next 2 note cards. The next 2 scenes I think are actually going to be 1 scene. So I have the pieces in place, but the bulk of it is not currently in existence, and then obviously it's going to need to be connected to the 7th scene and the future 9th scene. So that's what's going to be coming next. I was having a hard time writing at night. A lot of times I can write really creatively at night, even though it messes me up for like 3 days. I get so tired I can't feel joy. But I was having a hard time doing that last night, and I think part of the reason is because I've been having such a good time writing during the day that I didn't feel the need to be writing at night, and then I was just frustrated knowing I was going to mess up my sleep schedule for a long time. So yeah, all in all, the day was very successful, and I do definitely think Sara Lubratt is onto something when she's switching back and forth between writing and non-writing, because I got a lot done. Trying to keep track of what I'm getting done, though, doesn't seem to be in the cards for me, which is fine. You know, that works for her, works for a lot of people. It does not work for me. It clogs my brain.